Now you see, World War II was the most gruesome, most devastating, and the biggest war ever fought on Earth. Not only that, we fought this war and also ended it on both fronts, proving we were the number one military power on the Earth.
After the invasion of Poland in 1939, the Germans built ghettos in several Polish cities and in cities around Europe where Jews were effectively imprisoned. From these camps, conditions escalated until Jews were being executed in the newly built concentration camps.
The Holocaust escalated to the point where thousands of Jews were being killed by the day. Hitler had convinced the German public that it was the Jews' fault why they lost World War I. The Nazis started to ship Jews to extermination camps to be gassed or worse. The lucky Jews had to work all day and were fed almost nothing. They still also died from either starvation or gassed from concentration camps. The Holocaust was a truly terrible genocide and should never be repeated. D-Day occurred on June 6, 1944. It was a strategic landing of a strike force of countries that included America, Britain, and Canada, and many other countries. This event was the first time that a large force of Americans were involved directly in the fight against German soldiers. The real significance of the battle is that it paved a way for the liberation of France and ignited the Battle of Normandy, which included losses upwards of 450,000. Of these, 125,000 were American lives lost. The Battle of Normandy and D-Day reinvigorated the attack on Germany and would pave the way for the destruction of the Nazi regime.
As Franklin Delano Roosevelt had stated, it is a date that will live in infamy. Pearl Harbor was a horrible day for the inhabitants of Hawaii and also the rest of the country. Pearl Harbor was the reason that America joined World War II. We could not let the Japanese get away with taking the lives of a big portion of our Navy, and also many innocent civilians. The Japanese had to pay for what they had done, and that's exactly what we did. It gave way to a big power joining the war, the U.S.
America's main involvement in World War II was during the battles of the Pacific. One of the biggest and most important of these battles was the Battle of Midway. It marked the turning point of the war in the Pacific. The Japanese general Yamamoto launched an offensive to capture the island of Midway in order to draw America's navy out and destroy it. The American generals decrypted the secret Japanese codes and launched counterattacks. In doing so, they destroyed 4 Japanese carriers. This effectively gave America the chance to turn the tide of World War II in the Pacific.
Since Pearl Harbor, Japan and the U.S. had been at war with each other for 3 long years, with the U.S. winning the fight. The U.S. commanders knew victory would not come until Japan's mainland was invaded. Once we ended Midway, we went to island hopping and fought 2 of the most bloodiest battles in all of World War II's history. Our main goal in island hopping was to gain the airfields in Okinawa and Iwo Jima to perform aerial strikes on mainland Japan. However, Iwo Jima was guarded by 20,000 Japanese soldiers that were prepared to kill 10 American lives for every 1 Japanese life. This fighting lasted on Iwo Jima from February 19th to March 26th of 1945. This was a very bad battle.
Okinawa was more brutal than Iwo Jima, not only by the amount of casualties, but for also how desperate and fanatic the Japanese defenses were. The invasion of Okinawa went without problem until the 170,000 U.S. soldiers reached the southern tip of the island, where the Japanese general planned to unleash thousands of kamikaze attacks designed to destroy all of the U.S. Navy, which carried the Army supplies and support. When the U.S. Navy finally beat back the waves of kamikazes, the infantry had to fight the 120,000 Japanese soldiers on land. They performed their tactic called blowtorch and corkscrew, which happened when the U.S. found hidden Japanese cave outposts. They would then blast open the doors with flamethrowers and then seal the caves with explosives. After 82 days, the battle finally ended. The Americans suffered casualties of 60,000 wounded and 16,000 killed. From this point of capturing the islands, we then decided to drop an atomic bomb rather than to invade.
From the captured islands of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, we launched a campaign of bombings on key Japanese cities. This decision was questioned ethically, for the vast majority of people that died would be Japanese civilians. In one night of firebombing, we managed to kill 100,000 Japanese people. Ultimately, this only strengthened the Japanese government's resolve. It helped lead to the decision of dropping the atomic bombs.
World War II was surely the most important event in all of the U.S. history. It brought America into the war, and we ultimately led to the war's end, stopping the Nazi and Japanese governments. World War II also proved that the U.S. is the world's most powerful country both militarily and economically. Thank you for watching. You can start clapping now. Yeah, that's good. Thanks.